Hello and welcome to another EDH gameplay video brought to you by MTG Mudster.
Errated to have affinity for generic goblin noises.
Hey gang, and welcome back. Just so you know, you can use the promo code MTGMudsta, all caps, one word, at flipsidegaming.com to get 10% off orders $10 or more. You can also use the promo code at Original Magic Art on everything except for paintings. And finally, you can use the code at mtg.multizone.ca to get 10% off of your orders of singles. Using the code will help you save some money and help out the channel at the same time. Just to let you know, Flipside Gaming is going to be giving away a full set of Commander 2019 when it releases to one lucky winner. The contest will be running from July 12th until August 26th, and all you have to do to enter is either use my promo code MTGMudsta, all caps, no spaces, on an order of over $10 or more, or you can send a stamped, self-addressed envelope or postcard to Flipside Gaming. It's one entry per person, so good luck, have fun, and I hope you win. Today's game features another hot take from the Jersey Boys, and please note this was filmed before the Paradox Engine ban. Today's game has Matt playing Bosh, keeping Soul Ring, Thran Dynamo, Mere Retriever, Desert of the Fervent, Zalfin Void, and 2 mountains. Trevor is playing Freyalise, keeping 2 forests, Wirewood Lodge, Nissa Vital Force, Priest of Titania, and Farhaven. Sean has joined the battle, playing Progenitus, keeping a Simic Guildgate, Open the Gates, Azusa, Forest, Azorius Guildgate, Karmic Justice, and Terra Eternal. Lastly, Mike is playing his Keranos deck, keeping 3 islands, a mountain, Falcon Wrath Marauders, Solemn Simulacrum, and Trailblazer's Boots. Matt wins the die roll and starts us off. Matt plays a Zalfin Void, scrying 1 and keeping it on top. He casts a Soul Ring, and then taps a Soul Ring for an Ichor Wellspring, drawing as it enters. Sean's turn has a tap Simic Guildgate hitting the field, getting what I'm told is called Too Sweet, but I like to refer to as Finger Kisses from Matt. Trevor plays a Forest and passes to Mike. Mike plays an island and taps it like we're on MTGO, so he doesn't get prompted to respond each time someone does something. Matt plays a mountain and pays 4 for his Thran Dynamo on turn 2. He taps it for a Mere Retriever, passing. Sean drops his Azorius Guildgate, which comes in tapped as well, and he casts Open the Gates to find another gate, passing to Trevor. Trevor plays a Forest and drops Priest of Titania. Mike drops an untapped Sulphur Falls and pays for some Trailblazer's Boots. Matt plays another mountain and brings out Mirage Mirror in his main phase. He then passes turn. Sean draws and plays a Command Tower. He pays 3 for Azusa Lost But Seeking and proceeds to drop a Rakdos Guildgate, which comes in tapped, and then a Forest, passing to Trevor. Trevor plays a Gaia's Herald before dropping a Wirewood Lodge as his land for turn. He then taps the Priest for 2, using 1 to untap it with the Lodge, and floats 1 green. He taps her again for 2 more to cast a Farhaven Elf, passing to Mike as he goes to find a basic forest. Mike plays a mountain and passes. At the end of turn, Matt cycles his desert to draw a card. Matt starts his turn off by having the mirror become a copy of Azusa. He plays 2 mountains, and Mike gets in on the Finger Kisses as well. Matt taps out to cast Bosh, and he passes to Sean. Sean draws and wants to pump the brakes on Matt. He uses Damnation to wipe the board, and Matt uses the Retriever's On Death trigger to bring back Bosh to his hand. Trevor plays a Forest and casts Soul Ring. We then see Nissa Vital Force hitting the field, and Trevor upticks the Planeswalker to untap a Forest and animate it. He then passes to Mike. Mike draws and drops another island. He brings out #Sad Solemn, finding a basic, and passing. Matt draws and plays a Buried Ruin. He taps enough mana to recast his commander, which he makes look very easy with all his lands and mana rocks before passing turn. Sean draws and plays a Karmic Justice in his main phase. He then drops a Foily Trade Routes and passes. Trevor uses Nis's ultimate, which lets him draw as he plays a forest. We then see Freyalise hitting the field, and he upticks her to make an elf token before passing to Mike. Mike plays another island, and brings out Keranos in his main phase. He then passes to Matt. At the end of turn, Matt uses Bosh's ability to fling the Ichor Wellspring at Solemn Simulacrum, and with both dying, Mike and Matt draw a card. Matt pays 6 in his main phase to cast the newly drawn Mycosynth Lattice. He then counts up his permanents as they're now artifacts, and is able to cast a Mycosynth Golem for free. He moves to combat, and for the first time this game, a creature swings. This time, Bosh heads at Freyalise, and Trevor's little elf token can't do much to stop the trampling golem, so Trevor just lets her take the hit, and Matt then passes. Sean draws, and wishes he had more lands in his hand. He plays a Terror Eternal, and then a Ruin Ghost, and passes to Trevor. Trevor draws, and repays to cast Freyalise, since she now has so many good targets to use her minus on. He asks the table what he should hit, and the consensus is for Lattice, so Matt can't lock everyone out with Karn. With Freyalise's ability on the stack targeting the Lattice, Matt flings it at Trevor with Bosh to deal 6 damage. Mike reveals Cackling Counterpart for his Keranos trigger, and he bolts Matt in the face. He plays a Reflecting Pool in his main phase, and drops a Falconwrath Marauders. He swings it at Matt, and the Vampire connects, which lets Mike add 2 +1/+1 counters to the vampires. He then passes to Matt. Matt casts Paradox Engine in his main phase, and then brings out his own Solemn Simulacrum. With him casting the Solemn, the engine triggers, and he gets to untap his mana rocks, and then goes to find a basic as the robot enters. Matt then flings the Solemn at Freyalise with Bosh's ability, and draws a card as it dies. Matt then casts a Trading Post, and untaps his mana rocks again. Moving to combat, the Golem and Bosh find their way towards Mike to get some revenge, and hit him for 10. Sean draws for turn, and still can't find that land. He casts Courser of Crewfix, revealing the top card and showing yet another non-land, which is basically a living nightmare for a lands-based deck. With nothing else, he passes. Trevor plays a Forge of Heroes for turn, and brings out Regal Force. He draws 2 as it enters, and remembers to draw from his emblem for playing a land. He casts Skull Clamp, and puts it onto the Force, essentially waiting for Bosh to fling something at it. Mike has a Keranos trigger to resolve, and reveals a Locust God, bolting Matt again for 3. He then plays a very glared out Biden of Thassa, and heads to combat. He hits Matt again, drawing a card, and putting more counters on the vampire before passing turn. At the end of turn, Matt uses the Trading Post to make a Goat token. Matt plays a Mountain and sacrifices his newly made Goat token to the Trading Post to return Solemn Simulacrum to his hand. He taps his mana rocks to float some mana, and he casts the Solemn for free thanks to the Golem. He then gets to untap his rocks and Trading Post because of Paradox Engine, and goes to find a basic, putting it to the field tapped. He then pays 2 with the floating mana from his rocks to have the mirror become a copy of Biden of Thassa, and he heads to combat. Once more, the Golem and Bosh head at Mike, dealing 10, and this time drawing Matt 2 cards as well. Moving to his post-combat main phase, Matt floats more mana with his rocks, and then casts a Voltaic Construct for free, and untaps his non-land permanents again. He loses more life to make another Goat token from the Trading Post, and then flings the Solemn repeatedly at Mike to send a message. And by repeatedly, I mean once. He also draws as it dies. Matt then floats some more mana, and brings out a Dreamstone Hedron, untapping his non-land permanents once more. We then see a Cloud Key hitting the stack, untapping the rocks that Matt had tapped and adding more colorless to his pool, with Sean lending a hand. Matt picks artifacts as the key enters to reduce the cost. Matt then cracks the Hedron to draw 3 cards, and he floats more mana, and he casts Mere Battlesphere for free, once again thanks to the Golem. And he also gets to untap his rocks thanks to the Paradox Engine. The Battlesphere then enters, and Matt gets 4 Mere tokens. Matt then sacrifices the Goat to return his Hedron, and Sean heads off to help a customer while Matt is going through the motions of finishing off the table. He recasts the Hedron, and cracks it again to draw 3. At this point, he's more or less demonstrated that he's able to do a pretty decent loop of drawing and recurring the Hedron. In addition to this, he's able to easily recast his commander after flinging them at his opponents over and over again, and to make matters worse, Matt then resolves a Rings of Brighthearth, which all but seals the game in his favor. Game review time! So while I don't think the Paradox engine changed much from Matt's opening hand, considering how much ramp he had, he was able to pull ahead very quickly. It certainly did allow him to resolve his win condition, which is throwing Bosh at people's faces very easily, and surprisingly there was very little responses to it. It seemed very much like Mike and Sean were having opposite problems, with Mike having a bunch of lands early on, whereas Sean got none. This resulted in neither of their decks doing particularly anything they wanted to, with the exception of Mike's deck being able to attack once or twice. I think in theory, Trevor's deck was the best suited, with green traditionally being very good at destroying artifacts and enchantments, but unfortunately he just didn't draw anything. It was probably the slowest I've ever seen Freyalise do, and unfortunately Sean's Damnation actually hurt everyone except for Matt really. All in all, it was a bit of an unfortunate game, but sometimes that's what happens, and it's important to remember that not every game is perfect. Please be sure to tune in every Monday and Thursday at 11 AM Eastern Standard Time for a guaranteed new video. You can also follow me on Twitter at MTGMudsta. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/mtgmudsta, and lastly, you can check me out when I stream at twitch.tv/mtgmudsta. This video is brought to you in support by my patrons. If you're looking for a way to help out the channel, please be sure to visit the link below. Thank you all for watching this video, and don't forget, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.